All right, how's everybody doing? This is Joe. There's no pizza today, guys. Some of you who are closer to us know that she's been having some health issues and she couldn't be here today. But hopefully and prayerfully, we expect her to make a quick recovery, and she will be back with us again next Sunday. But I want to jump right into this message. Keisha and I, we talk a lot. This live and this series is about marriage. It's about family. Those are things that are really, really important to us. I'm sure that is important to all of you. But today I want to talk to the men. We've talked about couples, and because I don't have my helpmeet, we're not going to be focusing on that. We're going to be focusing on the men today because I've got some concerns and I've got some challenges that I want to put to you men today. Thanks for the love. The name of this particular live is Tailored, your three-piece suit. And it's not the three pieces that you're thinking. Because what we're going to be talking about today, guys, is actually the three P's. Because us, men, we are so vital in our communities, but we have been marginalized. And it's not even, I want to say it is our fault. I'm not going to say it's not our fault. I've heard women, leading into a live we did a while back, about one of our viewers and followers said, where are the good men? Well, they're out there, However, they're kind of hard to find. One of the statistics we put up was that 50% of black men in this country, men of color, are single and childless. And another stat that I want to throw out there is that 80% of our children are born in single-parent homes. That's a problem. We talked about it before. But here's the 80-20 in that. 30% of men of color are married, and they have families. And then we got the 50% who are single and childless. So that's 80%. So that means that 20% of the men out here are producing 80% of the children. And you hear women talking about there's no good men, and men ain't this, and men ain't that. And it's our fault, guys. Let me say that again. It's our fault. Because we are the leaders, which leads me into this three P's. Because what we need to be, what we need to aspire to be, and what I'm challenging you to be, whether you are married or not, this is essential because our families are under attack. And it's our fault to a large degree why that is. Because what we need to aspire to be is we need to aspire to be providers, protectors, and priests in our homes and our communities. That's a large reason, that's one of the reasons, or one of the biggest reasons why some of our communities are jacked up, why our children are jacked up. We've got a couple of generations of children who have no respect. They don't know about responsibility. They are lazy. And it's because we, the men, have not taken our place. And this is not just about a Christian thing, because it's more about spirituality. Because people of color, we have been spiritual. We come from, spirituality has been a central part of our life. And I'm sorry, guys, I can't see the comments because I've got the phone way over there, and I can't necessarily see. But I can't. Let me not tell you what. Let me go. What we got over here? Hey, what's going on? I see Fry and Phil. Thank y'all for chiming in because this is so important. Like I said, we need to be provider, protector, and priest. So let's break that down. Provider is the most the vital thing in the beginning. We have lots of men out here who don't even want to work, and that's not whether it's a job or you want to be an entrepreneur. And I'm not talking about some of these other things that are under the table. When I say under the table, but you just call it what it is, illegal. Because the Bible says a man don't work, don't eat. But here's the thing. If you are not set up to become a provider, how can you teach your children? Because it's essential that young boys have that man in the house because he sets the tone. He provides discipline. He provides the money. He provides the food. a real man, a good man, will be these kinds of things. So I'm challenging you guys out here, because that 20% of guys who are creating 80% of the children, those are the bottom of the barrel dudes. That's why these ladies are talking about there are no good men out there, because they're dealing with this 20%, the Ray Rays and the Pookies and the little pistol starters. Meanwhile, there's other guys out here, but as a whole, collectively, men, it is our fault, because you're going to allow these kinds of men to father our children and not do nothing about it. So that thing, you want to be a provider and be, willing to work, whether it's working a job, working a business, because if you are man enough to lay down with a woman and make a child, be man enough to provide for that child, because that child didn't ask to come here. And I've seen many occasions where these guys get out here and they got 4 or 5 kids by 6 or 7 different women. You heard me right. 4 or 5 kids by 6 or 7 different women. And ain't taking care of none of them. I saw a video a while back where guy he had a child with the woman. She had other children. She got mad because he wouldn't pay to feed her other children. Well, instead of being mad at that guy, why don't you call that other guy? Those other fathers. But they're not willing to be providers. So it brings me to my next point about being a protector. There's and not just protecting your woman, your children. It's we need to learn how to protect our ethnic image, how we're viewed in this world. Because a lot of times us black men are not viewed in the right way. And whose fault is it? Ours. Don't be talking about society and the media and all that, because there are other races of people who have changed their ethnic image. They took responsibility. So I'm challenging you, because see, here's the thing you want to protect. You want to protect your assets. So what do I mean by that? And here's a term. My spouse and I, we had a vigorous conversation about this. But once I explained to her what I meant, because it brings me back to another video. The term I want to use is high maintenance man. Now, a lot of you are saying, what are you talking about, Joe? High maintenance. It's not about, okay, you're a man who needs a lot of things and you need people to provide things. What I'm talking about, because I saw this video where this gentleman was talking to a woman, and she considered herself a high maintenance woman. We've all heard that term. She wanted the finer things in life. She wanted her hair, her nails. She wanted to travel. She wanted to do all these things. So she wanted these men to provide that for her. So when he got to talking to her, he asked her a critical question. Are you providing these things for yourself? And she said no. And then he went a little bit deeper. He said, okay, but you want these things, but you're not even maintaining the high standard you want for yourself, and you want someone else to do that. But let's go a step deeper. Because really the maintenance we're talking about here is maintaining peace, growing, maintaining your standards, becoming the person that you want to be connected to. That's a lot of times why we as men don't get the kind of women we want, because we don't maintain ourselves. We don't push ourselves. So that's what I mean when I talk about high maintenance. Make sure your mind is right. Make sure your attitude is right. Your heart is right. Your spirit is right. Because how can you lead a woman if you're not maintaining yourself in that way? So that's what I mean. When you want to become a high maintenance man, push yourself to a higher standard. 100 years ago, our people were still pretty much enslaved. But the men pushed themselves and grew and became more and instilled these standards into their children. I remember when I was a child, and this is a story, my grandmother, that's how I started getting into this gardening and all this love for I love cutting grass. But the funny story I want to tell you is my grandmother, when I used to come and cut her yard, and back then you didn't have electric hedge clippers or gas trimmers and all that. They had them big scissors. That's why I got these forearms from them big scissors. But she would sit on a stool behind me as I'm clipping the yard. And if I miss the blade, you missed the blade, I'm like, ah, chick, you in the house. But what she was doing was setting standards and making me want to do the job right. And her husband, my grandfather, also was a man of that nature. He held himself to a high standard. And I modeled my life after him. He was a man among men. He's one of the founders of Winston Mutual, the first black insurance company in Winston-Salem. So he wasn't an ordinary man, you know. But that's what I'm talking about, guys, is holding yourself to a high standard, becoming high maintenance, you know. Because the problem I see, and I just saw this is another video I saw, T.D. Jakes was talking about this. He was preaching and talking about, now, and this is going to sting a little bit, ladies, but I'm not attacking you. I'm just reciting what he said. He said that there are women out here who are so busy climbing the corporate ladder, and they're losing their families. We're losing our families. Because, again, remember, 80% of our children are born into single-parent homes, and it's our fault. Because family has always been our power base. From slavery, through Jim Crow, through the Civil Rights Movement, all the way up into the 70s. 80% of people of color were married. They could not destroy us because we were family. Families build communities, which builds our people. And segregation forced us to care for one another, because there was a time when if you were walking out at night and another person of color drove by, they'd tell you, hey, get in this car because somebody's going to do something to you, because we cared for one another. But again, going back to the last P, which is you need to become a priest. Now, this is specifically for my Christian brothers, but even my Muslim brothers can identify with this. We need to become priests in our home. And this brings me to another conversation my wife and I had, because she had to remind me when she was going through these health issues that she's going through. And it's been going on for a couple of days. And she reminded me, she said, you know, you've been with me and you've been watching me go through, and you were concerned, but you didn't even put on your priest suit or your priesthood and pray for me and anoint me and speak life into me. And that stung. But I take my role very seriously as a man. And I'm wanting to challenge you to become a provider, to become a protector, and to become a priest in your home and in our communities. This is the reason why we have generations of children who don't have respect. They don't know about responsibility. They are lazy. They have poor work ethics. And it's our fault. Well, we're not going to continue to put this on the women. Women are doing the best that they can. And again, that's the problem. Because we men are not there, sticking in after we done stuck in, and being there, and digging our heels in and saying, I'm going to show my children what a good man is. I'm going to show my children showing the boys who they need to be, and showing the girls who they need to be looking for. Because again, it's all about family. Because family builds communities, which builds our nation. Because we can be a nation inside of this nation. Other races of people do that. They cooperate with each other. They realize that when they work together, that they are almost impossible to be defeated. So, and here's the thing. When we don't do this, the reason we don't do this, guys, or the byproduct of us not doing this, is that's why my wife was telling me about this story, a fairy tale about Hans Christian Andersen called The Emperor's New Clothes. So this emperor, all he cared about, he spent all his money and all his time on buying clothes, and these two clothes makers came up and said they're going to make him this wonderful set of clothing, but it was going to be so good that the only people who could see it were people who were intelligent. If you were stupid, you couldn't see it. So it was supposed to be invisible. And what they did, they played him. And he ended up paying them for something that wasn't even there. And it made him look like a fool. And that's what we're doing, guys. by not taking our place. That's why we're getting called fools. We're getting called worthless. We're getting called useless and no good. Is because we refuse to take our place. Let me say that again. We refuse to take our place. Because remember, 20% of our children are being, 80% of our children are being fathered by 20% of our men. And those are usually the men who ain't hitting on nothing. So ladies have a legitimate beef. So, that's pretty much what I wanted to share with you. This thing hits really hard because, like I said, my wife, she hit me in the head with that priesthood. And so she's challenged me. I'm challenging you. I'm challenging you, man. Stop sitting on the sidelines. Stop saying there ain't no good women or all of them are gold diggers or this, that, and the other. Well, part of the reason why they are the way they are, why they've had to come out here and be bosses and all this. Of course, I don't like the word boss. Let me talk about it. Let's stop using that word boss. And I'm going to tell you why. Because it's a slave word. Back when we were slaves, and the overseer who sat on the horse out in the field, that's what they called him. Hey, boss, it's hot. Hey, boss, can we take a break? You don't want to be a boss. You want to be a leader. And that's why we got these ladies out here talking about, I'm a boss babe, and get your bag, and I don't need no man, and I can do bad by myself. Well, that's because that's what they've been doing. But I tell you, it's better to do bad with somebody. But you need to be the kind of man that a woman wants to attach herself to. And even if you're not there yet, make the effort. You can be anything you want to be. We have been some of the most powerful people on this planet. We were the first people on this planet. In Africa, when we were building the pyramids and performing brain surgery, when other folks on other continents were living in caves and scurrying around on their hands and feet. We have built great civilizations, but it was because we coveted family. And maybe covet is not the right word, but we valued family. We valued our women. We valued our children, but we valued ourselves because we're the leaders. They don't want to follow because they don't have nobody to lead. So I'm going to leave it going over to the YouTube channel. Our YouTube channel is Bountiful Harvest with Joe and Kisa. This particular video will be in the playlist, Meeting the Lumber. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers, so you haven't already done so, go on over to the channel. Please hit the like button. It helps the algorithm. It helps us to get more content. If you're enjoying this content, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. We want to help as many of our people. But there is an order, and there is a hierarchy that works. And like I said, when you got 80% of our children being in single-parent homes, which usually means it's the woman, that's terrible. That is not good. So you can't complain. Let's get in there and make a difference, guys. Become the provider. Become the protector. Become the prince. And if we reestablish these traditions and start having traditional families, we'll see a change. If you're liking this content, guys, please share this and get the message out, because I'm super concerned about our family. And I think you should be too. And that's just, like I say, this was for the men, but for the ladies, I appreciate you coming on. And if you got brothers, if you got cousins, talk to them. Challenge them. Because it's all our responsibility. But at the end of the day, it is us men who set the tone. If you want our women to follow, become a leader, become a provider, become a protector, become a priest. And if you're not married, this is what you need to be so that you can be worthy of that good woman that you say you want. Because there's nothing worse than somehow or another you get attached to a good woman and now you can't even give her the things that she needs. Because she needs a provider. She needs a protector, and she needs a priest. And so do your children. Guys, if you're laying down with women, be there. Be a father. Be a husband. The best thing is to stop making children before you get married. But if you fall into that trap, or not, I don't want to say trap, but if that happens, don't leave your children. Even if the woman is difficult, you know, don't let that keep you from being in your children's lives. They need you. All right, that's all I got. You know, again, like I said, I want to challenge you. Remember, get that three-piece suit, guys. Become a provider, a protector, and a priest. All right, remember, we come on every Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And again, this video will be uploaded on YouTube on our channel. That's that new thing we're going to get. We got a channel, now we're going to get a channel. But it's going to be on our channel, Bountiful Harvest with Joe and Kisa. Check the playlist, Meet the Bunbury's. All right, we'll see you in the next video. Later.